Hi Flosstube! How are we all doing? Thanks for stopping by. I'm Morgan. This is Flosstube, I think possibly 14. I don't know. I didn't check before I filmed. Sorry. If you're a returning viewer, thanks for coming back, hanging out with me. If you're new, welcome. I hope you like what you see. I'm a cross stitcher, very occasional sewer. That's my dog Nala, who's going crazy over some stuff that my mum's knitted, so I think it smells like her and her dog. Probably shouldn't be letting her sniff all over it, considering it is a baby gift for a friend of mine. But oh well, it's keeping her quiet because she's been barking all afternoon. So what have we today? Today is Sunday, the first Sunday in June. She has just been washed because she is absolutely saturated on a stroll that we went on today. Here in Melbourne, we're back on harsh lockdown. 5 reasons to leave our house. One of them being exercise. We can catch up with one other person. So we went for a stroll with Tim's sister. It's within our 10k radius that we can go. So we were able to catch up with her and go for a distanced walk with masks and everything, but it was good for the pups. We got absolutely saturated on because it is winter here and I didn't realise it was going to rain. Of course, the time that we were walking is the only time it has rained while we've been awake, so that's always lovely. But otherwise, I'm over it. I'm just over it. I think she's trying to find Tim, who's just gone up the road. She's more obsessed with him than me because I think she's sick of me because she spends all her time with me, because I'm the only one that ever stays home and works from home. So yeah. Anyway, I realized I haven't been on here in a little bit. I have the rest of my May plans to show you kind of where I got up to. In that I did get 2 finishes. I got a little bit of progress on some other things. Not as much as I think I would have liked, but oh well, I got there anyway. 2 finishes. I had a finished for now, so an FFN on a stitch along on the Dark Queen, but the new part has come out and I haven't touched it. So I'm now behind, well, I'm not behind, I'm on the current month. So I'll catch up on that. I've got a new start, which also is an FFN, or a finish for now. And then a very little bit of haul. So I guess I'll get into it. Very first thing that I have finished, I'll pop it on the screen here so you can see what it looked like at the start of May. Is the Santa ornament from Autumn Lane Stitchery. I am stitching this on, I think it's a 36 count. I could be wrong. It's either a 32 or a 36 stitching. I stitched this on a 32 or 36 count linen. It is Mulberries and Cream and it's from Nicola at number 12 Stitch Co on Etsy. She's located in Brisbane. I have stitched it with all the called for DMC. All the back stitching is done. I might have missed something. No, I haven't. No, we're good. I think when I was back stitching this one, I was actually surprised. Normally I make a lot of little adaptations. I think I've actually gotten this one pretty accurate. So I was pretty pleased with that one when I was doing the back stitching and trying to work everything out. Here is the pair, Santa Claus and Mrs. Claus. So I've done them both. It's a bit more accurate. It's on like this pale pinky kind of linen to make the white back stitching pop. I have a whole extra half of the fabric to hopefully stitch a couple more if they're released, but we'll see. I stitched this from the Just Cross Stitch magazine, the 2020 Christmas Ornament edition. I think that came out in July or something like that. Autumn Lane Stitchery have now released this on their website as a PDF, but I did originally buy it when they released Mrs. Claus at the end of last year, just before Christmas. In the event that I did stitch them at the same time, I did not. But anyway, that's another one done. Tim said to me, it's good timing to have done this before Christmas. I was like, well, hopefully I can get them finished fully before Christmas so that I can have them on my Christmas tree, but I'm not making any promises. I would like to have a couple of them done. I know that there is Frosty the Snowman. I have that from the Just Cross Stitch magazine as well, but he's going on a darker grey kind of fabric, so I haven't started him yet, just because I want to wait and see what the, if any, and what they are that are released in parts, like other Christmas ornaments that are released alongside these. I think Aaron originally said that it was going to be Santa and Friends. So I'm just going to wait and see so that I can kind of, I would like to have like a couple of each colour of fabric. So how I've got these two on the same, have Frosty and someone else on the same. I'm picking that there's going to be an elf. I hope there's an elf. I'm thinking there's going to be an elf and a reindeer at the very least. So we'll see what other colours I do them on. The other one that I got finished is my Gilmore Girls piece. So I'll pop a photo up here again of what this one looked like when I first started it. I had done all of the outline on this to make it easy, and then every time I called it during May, I was able to stitch one of the, and did I work this out? Is it a hexagon? A septagon. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Octagon. Oh my god. Yeah, I was able to then fill in every octagon and all the back stitching as I went. So that was pretty easy. So this is a the Raining Loreleis chart by Forbidden Fibre Co. I did buy this as a mystery stitch along kind of kit thing. It came with this material, which is 40 count frozen, dyed by Forbidden Fibre Co. And then the 4 called for flosses, which there's 2 different kinds of blue variegated, then there's this multicolored variegated, and then the coffee color in the middle. And I would have to say, I looked at the colors to begin with and I thought, I'm not really sure that they're my thing. And they're not colors that I would normally gravitate to on any other project if I had to pick, or just in what I wear or anything. But I love this so much that this is going to go at my desk so that I can constantly stare at it. But that coffee color, if I can get it up close, is like the perfect coffee color, because I find when looking at coffee colors, they're the dark roast kind of bean color. I feel like this is a very representative coffee, like a latte or a cappuccino kind of coffee color. It's like this icy coffee kind of color, and I just love it. I've just realized something's wrong with the stitch. So anyway, this was on 40 count, and I had so much more to go that I still haven't got it. I started stitching another piece on the other end. Just quickly on this one, it is going to be released by Forbidden Fibre Co. eventually as a chart that you can buy from her shop. So keep an eye out on that one if you are interested in stitching it. I loved it. I love stitching this. This was my first attempt at 40 count, and definitely now not my last, because I'm buying a lot more 40 count or stitching on a lot more 40 count and loving it. So yeah, that's the Raining Loreleis done. I guess it's only then fitting to just flick the material over. This is Coffee Quaker. Actually, this is what it looked like. Coffee Quaker by Heartstring Samplery. I purchased this one, but I'm still waiting on a number of threads that are on back order. So I'm kind of stuck on where else to go, but this is where I'm up to for now. So I've started with the lettering. I'm just not good. I'm not confident in my counting, so I don't want to be going too far and counting and making a mistake there. So I am going to, I have to pick this bond back up. I kind of fell off the wagon with my May plans towards the end of the month. So now that I've done the lettering, I should be able to finish that all off, and then that's a big chunk of being able to count things from there. So I'll get there. I did change one very, very minor thing. The eye on this bird, it was charted in another, like it's a one color that's charted in a different thread, but when I did it, and maybe it's because of the variegation in the bird, it just blended in. You couldn't see that it was a different colored eye whatsoever. And I don't have that color for that eye yet, so I just changed that. But otherwise everything is the called for threads. I am going to finally chop this one very soon. I don't know why I'm so scared to do it. I wonder if I can possibly get a small or two out of it. Don't know. Anyway. Next up is, I'll show you my least worked on piece. I just still have thread. I got nowhere near as much done on this as I kind of wanted to. So once I'm done with what I'm working on at the moment, I'm going to pick this one up and try to smash a lot of it out. This is where I was when I started it. This is Design 5 from the Cross Stitch for the Soul magazine book, by Stitch Rovia or Emma Congdon. This one, Megan from Georgia Girl Stitching started stitching this one, and I saw it. She's been calling it the Smooth C piece, or the Smooth C Stitch Along, or SAL, as it's been hashtagged. So this to me is also Smooth C. This is where I am up to. Really good that I've got everything all over the place. I feel really disheveled. So I wanted to get the entire thing for this banner bit, never made a filled in. I obviously did not do that. I have a whole chunk of the thread for it that I left out, so I could just easily grab, pop this on and go, but I haven't done it. I do have one of the elements of the anchor here done. I wanted to get both of those done. But yeah, I think I only ended up picking this up twice during May. When this lockdown came out again, I kind of fell off the wagon with the rest of my plans, and I just focused on one piece. So I do want to give this one some love. My goal is December to have it fully FFO'd and sent away. So I need to get this one going just so that I can at least have it done. Because I know with myself it takes a while for me to finish and then FFO something. So I don't want to be rushed. So I think I'll be picking that one up next. Okay. Next up in my WIP progress was Quaker Pumpkins. I substituted this one in, this is what it looked like. I substituted this one in lieu of Eye Candy, my full coverage piece, because that one's in the sin bin pile for now, I guess. So I substituted this one in, and I'm so glad I did. This is Quaker Pumpkins by Hello from Liz Matthews. This is where I am at on this one. So I've done the biggest center pumpkin motif on it. So now I'm going to start working along the sides of the border just so I can get a bit more bearings for my counting. I'm stitching this on a 40 count Zweigart linen that I've dyed myself using all the called for weeks dye works. I am doing hosting a stitch along for this one, hashtag Hello Quaker Stitch Along, SAL. So I'll pop it on the screen. Universal for the 2 Quakers that Liz from Liz Matthews has out now, which is Quaker Pumpkins and Quaker Snowflakes. In a recent YouTube Flosstube video that she popped up, she did mention that whilst not in the pipeworks yet, she does have intentions of doing other Quakers, whether they're seasonal or festive related, I guess, because this one here does say All Hallows Eve, so I guess it's Halloween, but it could also be autumn related. I'm not sure if I will do the All Hallows Eve text or whether I might reach out to Megan at Georgia Girl Stitching and do her word conversion. I think she did Autumn Harvest, so it's a bit more seasonal rather than why can't I think of the word? Holiday related. I guess we'll go with being Halloween, and Halloween's not a big thing for us to celebrate here, so I think I might do that, but that'll probably be one of the last things I stitch, so I'm gonna wait and see. I'm stitching this one with Evelyn at Evelyn Across the Pond, so jump on the hashtag if you're stitching it, use that one so that we can see, but I am loving this one. Once I finish off the banner on Smooth Sea, I really want to pick up this one and get a lot of progress done on this. It's just so pretty. Anyway, so that's that one. I'm so glad I changed that project too, because I had zero motivation to stitch my eye candy, whereas when I started stitching that one I couldn't put it down. So as much as I wanted to work on a project a day, I didn't want to be hating the project that I was working on, and I was always really happy when I was stitching on the piece that I'd called, except for that one. So I do need to unpick a lot of that, which scares me. Next up is the Dark Queen of the Sea Stitch Along. So this is what it probably looked like at the start of the month. As I said, I haven't started this month, so part 10. So after this there is only one more stitched part, and then I think it's possibly beading, maybe a little bit more stitching. So we have definitely come to an end, or getting close to it. So here she is. So this is parts 1 to 9. I am missing 2 corner framing elements because I'm still not sure if I'm going to pop them on. Part 10 is, I'm sure if you're following this one or you follow people on Instagram, you'll see, part 10 is a bit more of this tail on her. So she does have quite an Ursula vibe going, where it's tentacles, I think, in that sort of element, rather than it being a mermaid. So I'm stitching this on the called for Bewitched fabric from Under the Sea Fabrics. I'm doing it on a 32 count opal Lugana, all the called for threads, so it's all DMC and a couple of petite treasure braids in there. I've only made one change, which is the crown. I did a different crown that was in the Facebook page, but otherwise put the coral in still. I love her, and I'm gonna be so sad when she's done. She's gotten me through a pretty rough time. I guess everyone's kind of gone through that same sort of time, so I'll always look at her and remember kind of how I was so lucky to catch up, because I started this late. This came out in, I'm gonna say, September 2020, and I started this in December. So I had 4 parts to catch up on her, and I think one of them ended up then being the face and the hair, and I had never done partial stitches on a project before, let alone this being one of the first times I'd worked on anything other than 18 count Ada. So it was all a learning curve. I did feel a little bit overwhelmed in how much I'd just kind of thrown myself into it, but there's just so much that I get when I look at this piece of work that I've done, and it's not just relating to her beauty, but my growth as a stitcher, and then obviously as a person over the last 12 months of stitching this. So she'll always hold a special place in my world. So she will soon be caught up. I kind of just want to get that done, over and done with, so that part is done. It is a little bit of stitching, but nowhere near as much as what last month's was. So I should be able to knock that out pretty quickly. My plans are to finish what I'm working on next, which is my last WIP, finish her off, then start Smooth Sea and finish that banner off, and then Quaker Pumpkins if I can get there. So my last WIP is Caterpillar Cross Stitches Hello Petal. This one was released as a full chart rather than a stitch along, which I think all of the other trees have been stitch alongs. I've recently done Hello Deer, the stitch along over Christmas, and Hello Pumpkin. I did that after the stitch along. I wasn't aware of it beforehand, so I did it as a full chart at the end. I am also working on the summer tree, the last one in the series, so I want to now get this one done. But this is where I'm at with Hello Petal. So I've only made a very few minor small changes to this. I am stitching it all in the called for colours, all of that. I've changed the eggs here. They were a bit more Eastery. Obviously being in Australia, our seasons are different with the holidays, so this had a lot of Easter to it, being spring for I think the UK and America, but here our Easter is in autumn, so it's not really relevant. I know the bunny is kind of a bit also Easter related, but I think it works because all our animals are out, and we've got obviously bunnies and birds and mice here as well, so I've left all that. So the egg, I've just used the colours in the chart. There's an Easter egg here, an Easter egg here, and an Easter egg somewhere else over here. I did see that Evelyn from Evelyn Across the Pond, she has just uploaded a video earlier today and popped in that she's finished this. And she's not stitched them as eggs, she's just stitched them as single colours to kind of like the rest of these little bits. I think that's a good idea. I might do that, but I'm actually thinking I might use some of the motifs from Hello Sunshine, and maybe pop in a flower or two depending on what else comes out with this stitch along. With Hello Deer, I used some motifs from Hello Pumpkin to take away the Christmas elements to it, and to fill in a few gaps of things that I couldn't figure out. So I think I might end up doing the same here, but we'll see. My plan is to finish off the sheep today, and then that way I can get the rest of this part of the tree done, and leaving those 3 Easter eggs as the last motifs to finish. So yeah, this is my focus piece, to kind of get this one done so that I can then move on to the rest. So like I said, finish this, then stitch the Dark Queen, then fill in Smooth Sea, and then Hello Pumpkin is my plan. No, hang on. Quaker Pumpkin is my plan, but we'll see. So yeah. And then last thing that I've been working on, is a new start and a finish for now, is the last installment. So this is Hello Sunshine, a stitch along, and this is the first part completed except for one colour which rounds out this leaf motif here. I don't have it. I haven't looked at a substitute yet. I don't really mind buying the one. I have to go to Spotlight and get a couple other skeins of floss, but obviously with our lockdown I can't do that, and I'm not going to pay $10 in postage from some places in order to get it quickly because I'm impatient, so I've just left it. I was missing a colour. I can't go that close. This yellow and the one in the leaves, in the flowers. I've just used the yellow that's in Hello Petal, because I've got them going on the same, like from the same project bag, the same key ring for all my tags and everything. So I just pulled one of those. It's close enough. So yeah, that's up to date, which was a weekend stitch. So that was nice to kind of churn that out and get that done. With working from home in this lockdown, it has been good to be able to, like I've outlined the grass, and then in meetings, when I've been on Zoom meetings, I've just sat there and filled that in, and I did the same with Hello Petal, and that's how I got both the grasses done. Finished one and then went straight onto the other because I was kind of on a roll. So yeah, this will round it out. This is also on 18 count Ada. Stitch along, I think, was the 28th of every month, and 5 parts, so 5 months. So it's a pretty reasonable amount to get done in a couple of days. So yeah, I feel like June is stitch along month. Like that's my plan. That's my scope of works. I've done that, and I'll work on that at the end of the month. This, we're all kind of doing it as a bit of a stitch along. Evelyn, Mary Ashcraft, Sean at Craft of Eddie Creations, Stitch with Beth. There's a whole bunch of us that have been stitching this. So whilst it's not released as a stitch along, we have been using the Hello Petal SAL stitch along, so I guess another stitch along. Dark Queen stitch along. Quaker Pumpkin stitch along. Smooth Sea stitch along. So I mean, I feel like it's a stitch along month, so I think that's going to be my focus. My priority is just to kind of keep going and catch up, or finish or get a good amount of progress in on my stitch alongs. I am itching to start one more chart, or two actually, because I have most of the materials with me, but I do want to get at least Seize the Day done and Hello Petal. I'm getting so confused with all these hellos. Seize the Day and Hello Petal done, so at least that's 2 more off, and then I can just keep working on the rest of my progresses. I'm staring at these. I'm going to show you, and then I'm going to show you my haul. I hope you don't mind. I feel like everyone here is very flexible in their crafts. So my mum is an avid crocheter and knitter. I grew up with a lot of handmade clothes, either from her. My nonna was a seamstress when she came to Australia. So sewing is kind of a thing that my mum does and I do. Knitting was probably my mum's more preferred method of craft. Recently, in the last couple of years, she refound her love for crochet and the speed, and she can fly through anything. So I saw that she would knit, so I'd start pulling my stuff out. She fixes a lot of my knitting, so I'm not that great. But she, has always made us clothes. I have so many photos of us when we were babies, and my older siblings in clothes that she'd made us. And I know that that when we have our own kids, eventually, they'll get a lot of handmade love. It's a thing that anytime we know someone that's having a baby, we go to mum's collection. I think because of their size, she mass knits and she can just push out a whole kind of baby set. So a lot of the time there's a jumper, a beanie, some mittens and some booties. She also makes preemie beanies, knits and crochets them for donations. Also, if we know someone that's had premature babies. We've knitted a whole bunch of squares and made some blankets and crocheted some blankets and shawls. Well, she has crocheted some blankets and shawls for elderly, like hospital donations and aged care facility donations. So yeah, she does it all, but then she donates a lot of it or gifts it away. So she's very talented. One of my friends is having a baby, and she's having a boy. Her brother is also having a baby and having a girl. So mum wanted to try and make a few little toys, and a blanket. So she's made a matching kind of boy girl color kind of thing with leftover floss that she what what do we call it? Yarn that she had at home. So she has crocheted this little toy blanket comforting thingy, and she's stuffed this head. I don't know much of the details on the kind of crocheting she's done. I'm sure you'll all know if you're a crocheter. So she's made this little one, and she's made a matching pink one, and then she's lined, and I don't know why she hasn't lined this one. She's lined this with a silk velvet, kind of crushed velvet feeling thing, so it's got a bit of a textural element. I was a thumbsucker when I was a baby. I think you can actually still find photos of me doing it when I was like 8 or 9. And I had a thing with silk. I think it was a comfort thing for me, was silk or soft materials that I could rub, that kind of got me out of my thumb sucking days. Anyway, that's a whole different story. So she's put a textural element to it for that reason. So there's these 2 little toys. She's crocheted and then kind of like sewed on a little face, or crocheted on a face. And then she's made these 2 matching blankets to go with them. So here's one little blanket. I'll try to hold it this way. So again, all crocheted. And here's the other little blanket that she's made. Oh, is there a right and a wrong way? I don't know. Anyway, so she's made these 2. And then the whole reason why she got into all this sort of stuff in the first place, and I think the thing that my sister and I love the most about what she makes is things like this little jumper, this little cardigan, little jumper thing. I do have to wash this. I got it dirty, but that's okay. You can't. Oh, there you go. I know you should always wash something for a newborn anyway, so I couldn't tell you the size, anything like that, but it's like this pearl opal kind of yarn that she's used. She buys specific like baby soft yarn, but she doesn't go crazy on where she buys it. Most of the time her stuff is just from Spotlight or wherever she finds it. Like I think she's even made blankets out of stuff from $2 shop yarn and all of that. She I think I mentioned this in one of my very first videos. I got into crafting things like this because we used to do it at school. My mum would come in and teach our grades how to knit, and then she would take all the squares home and she'd turn them into blankets that we donate. She is a teacher, not at the school that I went to, and then also does it at her school. And then we'd alternate at school, and we'd learn to knit or we'd learn to cross stitch. So one year I learnt to knit, which I already knew because it was my mum. And then the other cross stitched. Isn't it just so tiny? So teeny tiny. It's so cute. Anyway, so my mum does stuff like that, and it sits in this room until I'm ready to give it to the babies. So that's why I thought I'd show it. And then the last thing is a little bit of haul. So firstly, I have always used an 11 by 11 Qsnap, but I wanted to get something smaller, so I went for an 8 by 8. So I got an 8 by 8 Qsnap. My original intention of purchasing this was to actually turn one of my 11 by 11s into 8 by 11s, because a few of them, like with Quaker Pumpkins, I could kind of work on it in a lengthways, but I only need it to be yay big. But I used this to finish Gilmore Girls, and I loved it. I don't know why the size of a Qsnap changes everything, but it was just lovely to stitch with. It's obviously, I think, a little bit easier to hold in my hands, and I do have torn tendons in my thumbs and in my wrists, so I do actually have a bit of a tough time holding the Qsnap every so often. If I've had a really big stitchy day or a week, I can feel really lethargic in my hands and really sore. So yeah, I'm going to order a couple more of these, and I think these are going to now be my stitch of choice. Obviously for like Hello Petal and Hello Sunshine with the trees, they fit in an 11 by 11, so you can kind of get the top to bottom of the tree. So stuff like that's obviously more practical, but I am a big fan. So there's that, really exciting. And then I got my latest haul from Yamir at Almond M&Ms. I popped in an order a few months ago, and I got a whole bunch of her original skeins. I had been talking to her about a particular color of fabric that I had gotten that I really liked, and she also really liked, and I said a thread in this would be really nice. So when I placed that order, she very kindly had done like a test batch of these threads and sent me 2 of them that I didn't share because obviously I didn't want, that wasn't my place to do so. She has actually since released these as they're very slightly different to what these ones are. So this top one here is actually agave nectar, so you can kind of see the difference. That's the released version, and that's the test batch that she did for the start that she sent me. And then the other one is seaweed. So this is now seaweed. And I actually ended up getting a 50 gram hank of this. So you can kind of see the difference in the color. The finished product is a little bit lighter, which I love. In that, when I put this new order through, she had sent me 1 of each of these and still had 2 more with her. So she actually had 3 of each color. So I brought a few more, but then she also sent me the rest of them. So, which is very, very kind of her. So I placed an order with the new agave nectar. And I got 2 of those, and then she sent me the other 2, and I've already set one up, prepped one on a thread drop that I have a cutter for. So there's 3, and I went with these to stitch the Quaker turtle from Ori TM, and I am going to stitch this. I've settled on it. I'm going to stitch this on this, which is Sea Glass by number 12 Stitch Co. Nicola, a 40 count linen. So it's like a green, like a really, it's like a gelati kind of color. Like it's like an ice, I can't really, oh, there you go. So I wanted to kind of stitch them in the same sort of color, but not the same. And they're both like water related kind of colors. The Quaker Turtle calls for, I looked at this over this morning, 4 skeins of DMC on a 28 count test stitch because it's 309 by 205. This is a 40 count and I'll be doing it over 1, so I'm guessing that 3 skeins will be more than enough because I obviously don't want to, as beautiful as the new colors are, I want to make sure that I can stitch the whole piece in the other color that I have. I've made sure to write, sorry, chopped it. I've made sure to write on my tag here that it's the old as well, so that once I'm done, if I end up with a little bit left over on a skein, I don't expect that they're going to be the same. So in this haul, I got the 50 gram hank. My plan with this is to stitch it on one of Nicola's other number 12 Stitch Co materials that I have. I want to stitch a couple of pillows on this with the material that's a little bit darker than this, but this sort of color. So that same, not monochrome, but like color on color kind of piece. So that's why I got this one. It's just delicious. There's no other way I can really think of describing it. This hank is just delicious. And then I got 2 more agave nectars just because I love this color so much. but I have plans with this colour, so I didn't want to go buying a full hank of this because I didn't. Another one of Sangria. Not sure what I'm going to stitch with it, but I like the idea of a couple of smalls in these, so I now have 2 of them. And then this is another project that, aside from the material I have ready to go. So this is Geranium Rose. So it's kind of pink with reds and a little bit lighter, not white or anything. Does that help? And then this is Anthurium Fire. I think that's how you say it. So I am planning to use these both to stitch post-editing Morgan here. It is Jardin Privé Quaker du Japan. I got that very wrong in the video. So it is black and red only in the chart. So this is going to be the red. I will use 310 DMC for the black, I think, unless, I don't know, unless there's something else that I see, like a variegated kind of black. And then I'm going to use Geranium Rose. So in the chart, which if I haven't already, I will pop up here. There is a couple of cherry blossoms and things like that. So I am going to use this to kind of break that up and give that a little bit of color. So yeah, that's that. So that'll be another project. Once my current WIP pile drops off one, I'll start Quaker Turtle, and then eventually I'll also start Quaker Japan or Japan Quaker. I have a little bit that I'm waiting on in postage. There's a lot of threads that I've got that are on back order, and I purposely ordered them together so that I've ordered them from Jeanette at JK's Cross Stitch Supplies, intentionally so that it would all get shipped together and get held until they're all in, so I don't have random piles of stuff that are missing things. I do have plans on, I have purchased Sakura, which is from Autumn Lane Stitchery. I've ordered absolutely everything except the DMC from Jeanette, so I'm just waiting on that to all come in. The thing that's holding that up is the material, because I've done the called for, I think it's Picture This Plus. So yeah, that'll be another start, and then just the missing threads that I've got for Coffee Quaker as well. Oh, I wanted to give 2 shout outs. They're 2 fellow Australians, one from Melbourne, one from Tasmania. They are not on Flosstube, at least not yet. You can find them both on Instagram though. One is Mell Rouvray. She is currently, she's started the Dark Queen of the Sea stitch along. She's doing it on a Mystic fabric, and it's like this pinky purple color. It's beautiful. She works on, I think she updates daily on what she's working on, and she's got a good like couple of days rotation. So I've got her thing up here on the screen. Go check her out if you're on Instagram. And the other one is Sarah X Stitches. She's in Tasmania. She's been absolutely lovely. Even when we went into this lockdown, she just sent me a really lovely message just to sing out and let me know that she's here. So that was really lovely. She's currently working on 2 really beautiful pieces. I think there's a few more, but 2 that stick out is Heaven and Earth Design, or Hade, where she wanted to get to 50% last month and she did it. And then also the Modern Folk Embroidery 2021 Fruits of Plenty stitch along as well. So go and follow them, check them out if you're on Instagram as well, especially if you're an Aussie. I know that we've got a small community, but we are there, so I love to see other Aussies and support everyone. But yeah, that is actually everything from me now. Tim has come home and made me a coffee, so I really want to go and devour that one. I hope everyone's spirits are okay and that everything is on the up from what I can see for everyone wherever you are. Fellow Victorians or Melburnians, we will get there, let's hope. sooner rather than later, but we will get there. But yeah, I mean, otherwise, I'll just keep stitching. It's really all I can do. But that's all from me. Thank you for hanging out with me and stopping by. If you're not already, I'd love it if you could subscribe, check this video, like, comment, follow me on Instagram, whatever works for you. I've got all my details below. If you ever want to chat to me, send me a DM, leave me a comment, whatever you'd like. Always up for a conversation. Otherwise, stay well, keep stitching, and I'll see you all soon. Bye.